that's often why like people with ADHD and other types of neurodivergence have this like chronic pain, like a certain posture.
You know, when I was with my snakes, when I'm holding a snake,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in as much pain. And sitting quietly with a reptile is kind of a form of meditation.
Yeah, it is. It not sort of is, like it is, I think. Like
I love that. I interviewed Olivia after she filled out my reptiles and neurodiversity survey because I found some really thought-provoking and relatable concepts in her responses. But speaking with her brought up even more than I expected, including a topic that I've wanted to talk about since I first started this channel. The idea that snakes aren't just capable of supporting our mental and emotional healing, but can help soothe physical pain as well. Since Olivia and I both have experience with chronic pain, this conversation ended up being the perfect opportunity to discuss why and how handling snakes can help. And we went pretty deep into the connection between pain and neurodivergence, how snakes can help with meditation for those of us who otherwise struggle to do it, why the neurodiverse spectrum is more of a soup than a linear scale, and so much more. True to form for two ADHDers, we went on tangents, got distracted, and went down unexpected rabbit holes, and I personally had a blast doing it. Olivia is relatively new to reptile caretaking, but her insights were no less powerful for that. Chatting with her really got my wheels turning. So if you identify with or have a light bulb moment from anything we discuss in this video, drop a comment below and let's talk more about it. There are boundless ways we can relate and differ in our experiences with neurodivergence and herpetoculture, and I'm endlessly fascinated with them all. Please don't forget to boop that like button, subscribe, check out our Discord server, and join these amazing folks over on Patreon as a member to help keep the content and important discussions coming. We've had some stellar patron video calls lately, which has become one of my favorite experiences in our expanding snake therapy community. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, and let's slither on into it. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm so glad you are here with me today to talk about reptiles and neurodiversity. You filled out my survey, and you had a lot of really interesting insight to share. So I'm very excited to go into more depth with you about that. The things that you shared are going to be really valuable for other people to hear.
Awesome.
I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate. And so let's dive into it. But before we dive into the juicy bits, why don't you just give us a background on who you are and your lead up to your experience with herpetoculture?
Sure. So I am originally from Massachusetts. We did not have a ton of snakes there, but I have like two distinct like childhood snake memories, which was one I put in the survey, I think, when I was like, it's one of my first memories when I was like probably 4, and there was like a huge like what I now know to be a mating ball of garter snakes. They're like, in my memory there's like 50 of them. Who knows how accurate that is, you know. Yeah. But it was like, wow. And my dad showed it to me and I was just like so like enthralled, and I still remember it. And then the other one, I was like hunting for frogs with my friend at a cranberry bog, and there was like a huge rat snake, I guess, like a big black, it must be like a rat snake, just like stretched all the way across our path, and we just like, you know, slowly backed away, and it just felt like so powerful and magical. Like I still remember, I was probably like 8 and I just still remember that. But other than that, there wasn't a ton around. It was, like I said, frogs and tadpoles. I was like obsessed with those, and salamanders, and just like all kinds of other animals. I was horse girl, you know, the whole thing. You were, yeah. Yes, there's got to be like, it's like a pipeline, like horse. Yeah, because I've heard that a few times. But anyway, yeah, I never really like thought seriously about owning snakes, because for the longest time I thought you were like supposed to live feed. Like I thought that was, you know, like the right thing to do. And I just like didn't want to do that. But I've always loved them, like in folklore and in art, and I'm a artist myself, and I love drawing them. So they've always been like in my psyche, and like, I just love like the symbolism and everything. But anyway, yeah. So recently, I went to. I guess it was almost a year ago at this point. I went to a reptile expo because I wanted a jumping spider because I wanted to make like the cute tiny little dollhouse setup for them. Went way down that rabbit hole. So anyway, yeah, I went to the expo. They were out of jumping spiders. So I was like, well, I'm here. I'll just like look around, you know. So I just started chatting with vendors and looking at all the snakes, and I like learned that live feeding was not the thing anymore. And I was like, maybe I can't do this. Yeah, so now I have spiders and snakes.
Okay. Awesome. And you were saying that I found this really fascinating. You were at that expo and you met EJ, Hurricane Herps, who I love her. She's great.
The best.
And you said you guys created a zine together?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes. Basically, poor EJ, like we chatted. I was like, you are my guru. We like chatted at the expo for, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes. But I just had so many questions and was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn. Of course, like I took her business card. I got on the internet when I got home and started like looking things up, like, okay, what's the deal with like, you know, reptile keeping? I was like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. So much conflicting information. And so I just started asking her everything. She was so gracious, and we just like kind of became friends, and she like really helped me kind of navigate all the info, and I like really respect her way of keeping. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like do what she says because I can't like, you know, it's so overwhelming to get into the like threads of, yeah, you know. Yeah. So I was like, damn, I wish there was just like a really like straightforward source that was like, you know, if you do these things, your snake's not going to die. And you can like expand on all of them, and you should expand on all of them, but just like a starting point to like have healthy, happy animals and like know which one is like the right one for you, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of like planted the seed with her that we should like make a little booklet zine thing, and we did. So she wrote it, I helped her edit it, and I did the illustrations.
That's amazing. You gotta send this to me, please. I want to put some visuals if I can, because that is so cool, and I am with you on that in so many ways. And you know, it's kind of crazy that you can go to an expo and there's no care guide information. Like it's ridiculous. And that's why like the one time I have vended at an expo, half of my booth was care guide sheets.
Yeah, as it should be. Like, I just think it's so insane. They'll just like hand you a reticulated python and be like, good luck. Just like,
gosh, makes me crazy.
No, it's wild. And like, I am very much a researcher. Like, deciding on what kind of snake to get first took me months, and like reading all about like all the different things. And even when I got him, I thought I was so prepared, and then like I ended up changing a bunch of things. There's just so much to know.
What did you get first?
So I got my little rosy boa first. He's so cute. He's tiny, tiny, tiny little guy. At the time, I was in a like pretty small apartment, so I wanted like, I mean, I like my animals to be snuggly, so I wanted kind of like a ball python personality in a smaller package. And that's kind of what I arrived at after my research. Like, he's very chill, slow moving, just like kind of derpy, you know. Mm-hmm. So
now you have more, I assume.
Yeah, I have more. Yeah. So he was my first one. He actually kind of bonded with my wife a little bit more than me. For whatever reason, he like they have like more of a connection. So he's hers now, but we share them all. So we have him, and then I have two. One is my wife's and one is mine technically, but normal boas, just like Colombian BCI or BI, whatever the latest is. And then one IMG boa that's from EJ, actually. She's gorgeous. She's such a babe. And then my most recent one is I ended up getting a ball python at the most recent expo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm up to 5 for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the neurodivergent world here.
Sure.
Obviously, we know you're neurodiverse because you filled out the survey and you're here today. Are you willing to kind of go into a little bit about what makes your brain unique and what is it that you identify with in the neurodivergent spectrum?
So I know I have ADHD. That is diagnosed. And I have, like all the classic like symptoms of that, like executive function, don't have that. like not a thing. I hyper focus on things and get like really down the rabbit hole, like I was saying. I always have to be like fidgeting. Just my brain is always going on like 3 different channels, ADHD. So all that and all the, pros and cons of that. And then, so I didn't get diagnosed until later in life, I guess you could say, like a little over a year ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So like pretty recent. I've known for a long time that I had it, but just like going through the process of getting the diagnosis was really hard for someone with ADHD to like, they don't make
That's
it easy.
Ironic.
Yeah, so I finally did that, and since I've been medicated for it, which was so life-changing for me personally. I know it's not for everyone, but it's been great. But since then, I have like, there's memes about this, so you've probably seen it, but once I got the ADHD under control, I'm like, oh, like, I'm seeing some autistic traits emerge. Like,
yeah, you said in your response that you feel like neurodivergence is often oversimplified and put into these like specific boxes when it's more of like a soup.
Yeah. So like spectrum, like people think of spectrum as like an A to B line and you like fall somewhere on it, but like a spectrum actually is like a circle with like all these varying shades that go towards the middle. And yeah, so that it's more murky, I guess, than typically thought of.
Yeah, and even within each box, some people have certain traits of it and some people don't.
Yes.
But they have other ones. So it's definitely a soup. I like that.
It is not so cut and dry. And I think I said in my survey too, like when I was a kid, I definitely had like weird OCD type stuff. And I've kind of evolved out of that, which I don't know if you even technically can like grow out of that. Like, I don't know. So I just think it's like not as simple as like I have this or I had that. It's just like neurodivergence is like a different operating system,
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
So in terms of your reptiles, I mean, this is all really new. I mean, you've only been hanging out with them for a little over a year, right?
Yeah, not even a full year, actually.
It sounds like you have recognized a lot of ways in which they specifically help or benefit you regarding your neurodiversity. So I wanted to go through some of the things that you talked about that I found really interesting and I think a lot of people can relate to. And one thing that was my favorite that you said was it's almost like a meditation, a substitute for meditation. And you were talking about how hard meditation can be for someone with ADHD. And I relate to that so hardcore.
Yeah.
because for most of my life, and I didn't get diagnosed until late in life.
Okay.
And so I look back and I'm like, oh,
Good. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was always like, I can't meditate. I can't sit still.
Yeah.
I can't just do nothing. Like it just doesn't work for me. This has since changed. That's a whole story, but handling reptiles and sitting quietly with a reptile is kind of a form of meditation. And I relate to that so much because they require you to be calm and be still as much as you can
Yeah.
in order to make them feel safe. And you kind of narrow your focus, you feel like grounded, right?
Totally.
And that is a form of meditation.
Yeah, it is. It not sort of is, like it is, I think. Like
I love that.
yeah, I mean, I feel like meditation has gotten this like I don't know if reputation is the right word, but people think of it as like this kind of formulaic, like you have to be sitting cross-legged like this and completely silent and like shut off your brain, which isn't possible for us. You can't shut it off. You got to give it something. So the only way that I was previously able to meditate, because I know like it's beneficial. So I like tried for a long time to like figure out how I could do it. There was this like really great app that got discontinued, but it had this like really beautiful kind of like forest background noise with like gongs and stuff. Do you have it?
Do you see her right by me?
Oh,
Do you see the snake?
yeah.
Sorry, I'm all distracted by her hanging from the ceiling.
Oh my God, what is she attached to?
There's it's a rodent or rodent hide that you can hang from the ceiling.
Ooh,
I'm so sorry. I just totally screwed.
That's totally fine.
Anyway, ADHD.
I know.
Squirrel. Or in this case, snake.
I thought you were like saying, I have that app. I was like, where did you get it?
Which app? So which app is this?
Anymore. I don't even remember what it was called. They stopped doing it. And it was like the only thing I could meditate to is this like one background noise on this app, and then they stopped making it. I was like, well, I can't meditate. It's over.
I had one of those too, and I tried it, and it was helpful. And now I actually listen to meditations all the time and every night when I go to sleep, on like YouTube. To be honest, I've
someone talking to you as like a guided meditation.
Guided meditation, because if I don't have a guide, I will just it won't work. So I have to have direction.
Yep.
And I have to be reminded to breathe.
Yeah.
And I have to be reminded to let the thoughts come and go.
Sure.
And like, but I feel like, you're totally right. Like the snakes help me do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's like something to focus on that isn't your thoughts, but like our brains need something. It's got to be something. So it's either, like you said, like a voice telling you to breathe, or gongs in a forest. You can't just sit there in silence. Like it's got to have something, or it just doesn't work, which is fine. That doesn't make it not meditation. Like it's the flow state that is the meditation, not like what you're doing. I mean, I think you can like take a walk and be meditating. Like it's
absolutely. That was definitely one of my meditations for most of my life.
Yeah,
for sure. And then, kind of leading into that is you were talking about, needing to do something with your hands, and a lot of neurodiverse people could relate to that. I mean, stimming basically. And, I do hate, in a way, I hate to say, snakes are fidget toys. Like that kind of makes it sound objectifying and stuff, but it is they can be an outlet. for stimming behaviors.
Totally.
Because those behaviors, they're not always detrimental. There's nothing wrong with stimming.
No, not at all.
But they can be detrimental.
Yeah, I know some people like pick at their skin really bad, and yeah, there's of course extremes. But there's healthy ways to do it. Like how I look at it is like, we got to do something, like find the way that is healthy. And I know what you mean too. Like I think about that a lot. Like, oh, they're the best fidget toy ever, but like it does feel like that's not. Yeah, it's like
they're not toys.
They're not.
They're living animals.
Like use them for that. And that's something I think about a lot in general too. I'm like, damn, I get like so much dopamine from these guys, but I don't want. I mean, who knows like how they conceptualize things, but I don't want them to feel like I'm using them for that. You know what I mean? So I just try and like give them a really, really, really good life.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. And, it's a mutually beneficial relationship that we want to create, right? We don't, I'll say like snakes are great for helping us. They benefit us this way. And I've had people be like, they're not tools. And I'm like, of course not. No, they do benefit us this way. And so therefore, if we're getting this from them, then we can be motivated to give back and give them their best lives. And then it's mutually beneficial.
Yes.
Right. So I'm a tool for them.
Yeah.
Because I give them shelter, food, safety from predation. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with them being a tool of sorts for meditation and comfort and all of that. So it's semantics in the end, as long as you're doing what we're doing and we're focusing on giving them a good life, right?
Yes. And I get so much out of them that I like really want to put back into them as well. And like, I'm like always tinkering and obsessing over their lives. Enrichment.
Yeah. And that's a big thing for us too. It's just like, there's always something you could keep doing and keep learning about and keep, tinkering.
Like that project. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's also like instantly gratifying too. Like, I mean, not always. Some things take a little longer to work on. Like, I know you do really complex.
I was gonna say,
like, how do you have the patience to like wait for things to set? Like,
someone's asked me that before.
Yeah.
The key is having many different projects going on at the same time. Multitasking. So while something is setting, I have something else that I can work on. That's the only way it works for me.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, mine takes weeks to months.
Yeah. It's wild.
But you were saying that one of the things you said in creating habitats, it soothes your inner child.
Yes. There's like so much, you know how they say like your teens and 20s, you're trying to like assimilate and like be a normal adult. And then in your 30s, you just start, you're like, I mean, I don't know if I can swear, but like, F that. I want to be my weird child self again. Like I'm getting back to that, I'm really feeling that. So yeah, when I was a kid, I had this really beautiful dollhouse. My poor mom and grandma like really wanted me to play with dolls, and this was not happening. So they got me this really cool dollhouse, and I just like got rid of all the dolls and would like obsessively rearrange the furniture.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. And then I would like put my kitten in it. Like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
So there's definitely that part of me that loves like setups, like just arranging things in like an aesthetically pleasing way, over and over. So, like that, and that's why like a big part of the reason I wanted the jumping spiders too is because that you can make those like really cute little houses for them, and they don't really care. Like as long as they can get under something and make their little web and they have food, like you can kind of do whatever in their enclosures. So yeah, it's just like the same idea, just creating this beautiful environment and then like putting something alive in it. Like, it's very like back to my little weird kid self. Great.
I really enjoyed what you said about, you know, you made the analogy to the weighted blanket, which is something that I have talked about a lot, is that the weight of the animal can be really comforting. But you specifically mentioned chronic pain, and
Yeah.
I've had chronic pain for most of my life. So I was wondering if you could speak to that at all.
Yeah, for sure. So this is like a big tangent, so stop me if I'm going too far. But
okay.
Another deep dive I've recently done is like the kind of comorbidities with neurodivergence, one of which is like very often chronic pain. And like mine in particular, and for a lot of people, stems from what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when you like your joints overextend, hypermobility.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of all of my joints go a little bit the wrong way. And like that's also kind of tied in with like probably gonna mispronounce this, but like proprioception, which is like how your body like fits into a space and like how you move and balance and stuff. That's like another issue that a lot of neurodivergent people have. I don't know if you've ever seen those memes that are like the ADHD walk, how like your head stays still and then your body kind of like moves around under you. Have you ever
haven't seen that? No.
It's funny. Like I'll send you some links, but
I'm just a total klutz.
Well, yeah, you'll probably catch yourself doing that now. It's like when you're trying to dodge around something, like your head will stay still and your lower body will like swerve around it. And then it doesn't always work. Sometimes you just walk right into it. But
I walk into things all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the ADHD. It's all the ADHD. Yeah, so anyway, those all tie in, and what I have like got into in my research, which I have like read what peer-reviewed papers there are, like actual scientific research, and then also done a lot of like TikTok sleuthing, which is where I always get the idea, and then I'm like, is this real? And I'll like find that quite often it is, and like no doctor has ever told it to me, but some like random girl on TikTok, I'm like, she was right. Anyway, all this to say, the kind of common thread with all of this is connective tissue disorder. So like your joints and hypermobility, that's all connective tissue, like being weak. And there is some research and thought around that being like also the cause of ADHD, because there's connective tissue in your brain that like connects the neurons and stuff. So it just like doesn't work the same as, you know, normal brains. So that's kind of, that is making a lot of sense to me. And obviously I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I read a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think that that's often why like people with ADHD and other types of neurodivergence have this like chronic pain, like a certain posture, like kind of slumped. I know I have terrible posture. I always have to like remind myself to like tell myself to sit up straight and like hold my body a certain way, because if not, I'm just like, you know.
Right. Interesting. I've never heard of the connective tissue theory, but what I have learned in my journey with chronic pain, which, I mean, I still have it, but it is extremely reduced from what it used to be. And that was from, and this is a total tangent too, but I did some work with a pain psychology center.
Cool.
And learned about how most chronic pain is actually originating in the brain.
Interesting.
actually all pain originates in the brain, right? So everything we feel is coming from our brain. But what they're saying is a lot of chronic pain is created not out of a physical disability, like not a physical cause. It's a mental cause. That does not mean it is not real pain, because all pain originates in the brain, and it can hurt like no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's not to say it's not real, but a lot of chronic pain that is psychosomatic can be controlled.
Sure.
And at very minimum, you can turn the dial down, the volume down on the pain with certain types of exercises that literally rewire your synapses and the connections. So it teaches it. You have to train your brain to turn off the pain signals. And those pain signals are often stemming from anxiety, trauma, whatever they are.
In your body,
so you basically have, if you feel unsafe, your brain goes into fight or flight.
Sure.
And it sends signals to your body to make you feel something, to like, okay, something's wrong.
Gotta do something. Yeah.
Right. And so you may be like, nothing's wrong, but then your brain's like, I'm not safe. I don't feel safe.
Sure.
So I'm going to create a pain in your elbow. And if if the pain in the elbow doesn't work, I'm going to create a pain in your knee, and I'm going to create a pain in your back. And this can go on for your entire life. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to unlearn these things. But you can. Okay. It's crazy. I've done it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 25 years or more of chronic pain.
Wow.
That I don't have even close to what I used to after doing this work.
Yeah. What is the work? Is it like hypnosis, or what is it like?
No, it's a combination of therapy to examine what it is that is making you feel unsafe. So you kind of have to go back into some really
like EMDR type of stuff.
You have to go and examine, like, what is it that made you start feeling unsafe at age whatever it was. Like, I mean, I cried every single session. But examining that, and then meditation, that's, mostly somatic. So you identify these sensations, right, that you're having. And instead of calling it pain, you go, well, all pains are sensations, just like this is a sensation.
Yeah.
So when you start to tell your brain that this horrible pain that you're feeling is a sensation just like this is, exactly the same, there's no difference, and you have to tell yourself that you're safe. It is not easy by any
Sounds hard.
means. It is extremely difficult. It took me, if not a year, many months to get to the point where I could walk away and be like, oh my God, I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
And then it would come back. So it's like
journey.
you have to work on it always, basically. But it is incredible. So all that being said, all of this stuff is in our brains. And so when I thought about it, when I was with my snakes, when I'm holding a snake, I wasn't in as much pain. And that reinforced the idea that a lot of my chronic pain was psychosomatic, which, again, I will reiterate this for anyone who's listening. Psychosomatic pain does not mean it is fake.
Right.
It does not mean it is not real pain. It does not detract from how painful it is. I want people to understand that, because you can feel really bad when you realize that it's psychosomatic. You're like, what the is wrong with me?
Well, everything is psychosomatic to an extent. Like your
brain, to an extent,
not disconnected. Like,
to an extent. I mean, if you have a broken back,
of course,
you can't necessarily. You can still use these techniques to turn the pain volume down. But physical breakage,
Yeah, of course.
you
But
you is not a necessarily something you could
yeah,
untrain. You
but
can control it a little
right.
bit.
I just think that it's psychosomatic doesn't mean it's not real. It just means like you said, you perceive everything with your brain. So all that means is like your brain and your body are one thing. Like they're not different.
Right. But
Yeah.
once you can equate sensations as just they're all sensations,
Yeah.
suddenly you can be like, well, this nice touch should feel the same as, like, treat them the same.
Yeah.
And suddenly your brain is starting, you're like, I don't need this one.
Sure.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
There's no reason I'm not unsafe.
Yeah.
So if I'm not unsafe, I can tell my brain that this is not a necessary sensation that I need to feel. This
Totally.
is a very dumbed down explanation of this. However, all this ties in with when you're holding a snake, you are no longer focusing on that feeling of lack of safety. You are no longer focusing on your anxieties.
Yeah.
They are physically soothing. All of those things can literally help with physical pain.
So
And I
cool.
think that's fantastically fascinating.
Totally. I mean, that makes like that whole theory that you just described like makes a lot of sense to me because I will do something similar. Like if I have like a sudden sharp, like if I stub my toe or like walk into something and it's just like a sudden sharp, awful pain, I will like tell myself, my inner dialogue is like, okay, I get it. That hurt. You don't need to keep telling me. Like, I get it. That's enough. And it really does help. Like, it sounds so silly, but I can like feel, like you said, the dial turns right down. It's like, okay,
Right.
I know that was a bad thing to do to my body. I will not do it again. Message received. You can stop telling me. And like,
Right. The whole point of your brain creating pain is to alert you of a
yes,
danger, right? So if you cut through your hand, your brain needs to tell you that there's something wrong, otherwise you're going to have a problem, right? So
totally.
that's what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it can create these signals when there's not actually in danger,
Yes.
because you've had trauma or you have, lasting PTSD, CPTSD,
Mm-hmm.
that will continuously tell you you're in danger when you're not actually not.
Yes. Yeah.
And so these animals, when we're holding them and they're so grounding and they move so slowly and they feel so good,
Mm-hmm.
it helps us to take down those levels of anxiety and that sense of not feeling safe. And
Mm-hmm.
that can literally help us to feel less physical pain.
Yeah.
Um,
That's wild. And
this
then,
is pretty wild.
yeah, that's so crazy. Ah, they're just the coolest. Yeah, I wonder. That's so interesting. That's like a lot of food for thought. I'm gonna have to. I mean, there definitely is a part of me. I think I've probably resisted looking into anything like that because I feel like a lot of times women are told that their pain isn't real. So I'm just like, ugh. But
Well, that's not telling you that it's not real.
yeah, but do you know
And
what I
there,
mean? Like,
yes, I do know what you mean,
yeah,
more than I want to say right now. But there are tests that they can do. And these are all doctors.
yeah.
This is not a woo woo.
Oh, I don't
Like,
mind if it's woo woo either way, but yeah.
for me, it's important that it's scientifically
Yes,
backed, and it is scientifically backed. But there are tests that they do assessments basically, and they can help you discern what is, a physical
sure.
issue and what is psychosomatic, and help you navigate through that. So
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I will dive into that next.
happy hyper focusing.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on because there's so much to cover here.
So many tangents.
Yeah. I would like to talk about otherness and solidarity, just a little bit, because it's this thread that runs through just about everyone's response.
Oh gosh, where to start? That's like such a huge thing. But yeah, I think a big part of, especially for people like you and I that were like late diagnosed, there's so much masking of, and like before I kind of realized that I was neurodivergent, which has been years, but like before that I was like, does everyone feel like this? I just felt like things were so much harder for me, and I just felt like so different from people. And like, I mean, I would like fit in, like I would have friends and stuff, but it was just like so much more work for me to just like be normal. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely like a way that I and other neurodivergent people, I'm sure, like relate to animals that are very like misunderstood, very different, and their like true selves are othered. Like, I mean, obviously reptiles like aren't gonna mask, so it's just,
Yep.
there's no pretense.
There's no complication there. They just are who they are.
It is what it is. And I think there's like a part of me that like really admires that about them, it's just like, that's cool. You're just like not masking at all. And like a lot of people don't like you and you just don't give a like, so there's that aspect of just like relating to them and also like admiring, like almost wanting to like emulate that in a way. And like, obviously we always have to mask to an extent to like function in the world, but being more okay with the fact that like my brain works differently, like I'm not neurotypical and that's fine. I just need to like accommodate it and like to an extent unmasking and just like accepting that. Yeah, it's nice to like relate that to these creatures that like, it's almost like I look up to them in a way. Do you know what I mean? They just like, or like admire them. Like they just are who they are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's honest.
Really cool. Yes, it's honest. And it's just gotta be so much less work. Like,
Yeah.
So I love that. And also they just like, another way that I relate to them is like, I think I put this in my little survey thing. They're so like expressive. Like they have expressions, like they do emote, but I cannot figure out like how do I know? It's like their faces don't move, but I can like tell that they're like
body language.
Yeah, their body language for sure too. But I don't know, like especially my IMG, I just feel like she gets these like looks on her face where she's like giving me puppy dog eyes or she's like feeling sassy and she's not even doing anything with her body. It's just like somehow I know that. So that's like endlessly fascinating to me. Like, how are you getting this across, And I think that neurodivergent people definitely emote differently and like process emotions differently. I was actually just reading about how neurodivergent people actually like experience emotion through thoughts more than their body. Like, how therapists always say, where do you feel this in your body? Like a lot of neurodivergent people actually like it goes through your brain, which makes sense with the pain thing too. It's very interesting. That's a whole other tangent. But
yeah, I definitely feel it in my body.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, it's all connected. So.
It's all connected. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can't speak for every neurodivergent people, but I think that I process emotions like very differently than most. Like it takes me a really long time to even like feel something deeply in my body. It's just like intellectualized. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know that I process emotions the same way that a snake does. Like I have no idea, but I know that it's like different, and they are also different to most people, like how they emote. So
yeah, when you're feeling a lot, which I don't know, I think a lot of us do feel very strongly, regardless of whether or not we show that on our faces or through our bodies or whatever. We seem to feel a lot. And I kind of wanted to tie that in with something you said about like how we approach them and how they sense that, right? They sense energy, and they sense, they can smell pheromones, stress hormones, like all of those things. So you have to kind of like get your energy right before you approach
for sure
a snake, for the most part.
Yeah.
Some are more tolerant than others of that. But you said, you have to get your energy right before you reach into the enclosure and tune into the snake's body language. They're like an energy barometer. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really true. And also very powerful in that we have to self-regulate.
Yeah.
They like basically force us to be more in control. Otherwise we don't get to hang out with them, or we get a negative consequence.
Right.
They're not going to mask.
No.
They're going to be like, dude, no.
Yeah. Hard pass.
Sorry, no.
Yeah.
But I think that's what one of the things that I think makes them such powerful healers for us, because they cause us to self-reflect. Even kids who are not as conscious of what's going on.
Sure.
I've seen and heard so many stories of like even the kids going, oh, I need to change something. The snake is not comfortable. And self-regulating, when in general they have a lot of trouble self-regulating.
Sure. Yeah, I've seen like a couple of your videos that had kids and how they just like came to that level to be able to interact with them. I think like it's so cool. I think part of it is like, kids aren't born afraid of snakes. Like most kids like snakes, I think, just as much as they would any other animal, or more so, because they're so cool and different. But yeah, I think it's not even like you have to consciously say to yourself, like, I'm going to get my act together so I can hold the snake. It's just like you kind of just do it because it's like, oh, I really want to have this like positive interaction. This is such a cool animal. And then your brain just kind of falls in line, like, okay, like locked in. At least for me, I'm not like, okay, I gotta like calm down before I do this. It just kind of happens.
That's an empathy thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're just, I think a lot of us are pretty empathetic people.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes, in my case, sometimes too much.
Yeah.
But that response is empathy.
Yeah.
Because you're not even thinking about it. You're just like, oh, I have to make sure that this animal feels safe. And it's not even I need to change myself. It's I want to get to the level where you feel safe.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I think that's
neat. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Talk to me about attachment theory in relationship to reptiles.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So this this is like not fully fleshed out, and it just occurred to me a couple weeks ago, and it's just kind of been percolating. But yeah, okay. So just from my own perspective, I like tend toward avoidant attachment, and I feel like snakes are just like the perfect pet or companion animal for that attachment style, because like they are fine without you. You have to like really work to like earn their trust, or what we perceive as their affection. It's not easy, and they'll give you like crumbs. And you're just like, okay, what else can I do for you? Like, it's like always a little bit out of reach. Whereas like, and then if you get like the littlest thing, like I think I messaged you the other day when my boa chicken little, she like came out of her enclosure and like kissed my face like all on her own. I was like, oh my God, it's like so magical and special. And I've had her for like months, and that's the first time she's done that, even though she's like very docile and sweet, but that was like a big moment. And then if you think of like a dog, they're just like, they'll lick your face after 2 seconds. They're like, like,
yeah. The rewards are both awesome in both cases.
Yes.
But there's something a little bit more rewarding for some of us when it's not easy.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's not like a given. Like, it's not a given that these animals are going to come to us.
No, it's like special.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I only just started like kind of learning about attachment theory, and that makes me think, because I was on the anxious attachment spectrum for most of my life.
Sure.
And I have done a lot of work since kind of even before I realized that anxious attachment, to change my responses and my processing of other people and other, now what I understand, other animals' responses to me, not taking things personally. And snakes are a great way to learn to not take things personally.
Yeah. Like that is obviously I would love to be just securely attached and that to be my natural state, but here we are. I feel like, it's better to like kind of have an outlet for that type of attachment style with a snake than a person,
Yeah.
It's like a healthy outlet for that natural tendency, I think. Kind of what I've come to. And then like, there's like the other side of it, like, okay, what is the animal for anxiously attached people? And like, obviously dogs, because they will give you like all the love all the time and just like, attached to you.
Yeah. They need that bond.
Yes, they do. And I have 2 dogs and I love them. So like, don't get me wrong, but
me too.
Yeah. But it's just a different like niche. I don't know. It's like a different relationship. Very different, obviously, with mammals in general.
Yeah.
And I feel like the dogs, this is one of the things that just like circle back to like, since I kind of not got it under control, but since I got on medication for the ADHD, I've like noticed some like autistic kind of things coming up. Like I'm realizing that dogs are like so overstimulating for me. Like I guess I was just like too frazzled before to even really like notice what was overstimulating me. But now I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah. I can very clearly feel that I'm getting overstimulated. And yeah, I've really felt that with my dogs. Like in the mornings, I can't even like deal with them until noon. Like I feed them, of course. I let them out and I feed them, but I'm like, guys, just like chill.
It's so unpredictable for me. Because sometimes I'm like rolling on the floor and like smushing my face into them, and I love it.
Yeah.
We also recently rescued a dog off the street that had been hit by a car, and he's a puppy, a big
what
puppy.
Kind of dog is it?
Some kind of shepherd mix.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But obviously had been on the street for many months, most of his life, maybe. No training, Anyway, fast forward to now, he has 3 legs and he's the happiest dog on the planet. but
Oh,
he's also a lot.
yeah, I'm sure.
He's like, over the last year, he's discovered how awesome life is.
Yeah. It's like,
Because
woo-hoo.
he had a horrible life before, and he didn't get affection, and he didn't get anything given to him. And now he has all these things, and he's like, I love you so much. And he will just literally jump on, like, he wakes you up in the middle of the night to go out to the bathroom by jumping on you and just putting his face in your face. And he's just like, ah. And he's so sweet, and he's come to this place of loving affection,
Yeah.
but he can also just be like so in your face with it,
Yeah.
that, you know, sometimes it's adorable, and other times I'm like, dude,
Chill,
no,
chill out.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. And my other dog isn't like that. She's much more like controlled. I mean, I raised her for the last 11 years, so she's more like me. um, so I've definitely recognized, like, okay, I need some space, dude, or because now we have two dogs.
Yes, that's like a
It's a
big
lot different than one.
it
Oh my
really
goodness. And they get off on each other, and they make so much more noise. And sometimes, you know, I'm like, sometimes it bothers my husband too, and he is neurodivergent too, but he can take their noise a lot better sometimes than I can.
yeah.
And it'll just be like
Yeah.
I'm just like, gotta get
Yeah.
it's too much. And other times where, you know, he's the same. We're just like, we're just gonna walk away right now.
Yeah. Yes. That's another nice thing about snakes is they're silent. I
Silent.
love that about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
brain is loud enough. Like, I don't need.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Can you share a specific experience with one of your snakes that was particularly healing or powerful for you, that like I can relive with you?
I mean, I think just like the first moment, like when I got my little rosy boa, like I got him in the mail, which I don't think I will do again. It was very like stressful. And everyone like assured me that it would be fine. And he got here fine, like ended up fine, but I like really, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, stress.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just like had done so much research and thinking, and like when I went to that expo, that I like started thinking like, oh, I could have a snake. You know, I didn't actually hold any that day. I just like looked at a lot of them. I'd held them before in my life. Like I've always liked them. So if someone had one, I would like always want to hold it. But it had been probably years since I'd like held one in real life. And when I finally got him after like all these delays, and like got him out in my hands, was just like so palpable. Like their energy is just so magical. I was just like, oh, like do you know what I mean? It's just like,
oh yeah,
okay, like yeah, this is a real like it's just like such a magical moment. And I just felt like so honored, I guess, like that I get to like have them in my house. It just feels so cool. Like there's something so like primal, and like I can't believe I get to have this like otherworldly creature just like living in my house, you know? And just that first moment of like ding ding ding, like you got this magic thing in the mail, and it just like is staying here. Like I don't know, it was really a turning point, because up until then it's been very theoretical, you know, and then it was like, yep, I was right. This is great.
I love that you use the word it's an honor.
Yeah.
Because I think that if that was more prevalent, welfare would be better.
Yeah, I know.
If people realized what an honor it was to not only have these animals in our lives, but to interact with them. And I just feel like there would be better standards in general. And I can relate 100% because I actually was terrified of snakes until I was about 18. And I was resisting. My friend had a ball python, and I was just like, no, 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 no. And he finally convinced me to hold it. And that moment changed my life.
Yeah.
It was this sense of like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
holy wow.
Yeah.
And just like mind blown, feeling like the majesty of this creature.
Yes.
Like, wow. And you're letting me hold you and you're not trying to
Oh,
bite me. And, holy,
yeah.
what an honor.
So hard to describe, but it is that just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's so like in your body too. It's just like something like clicked, or just like a switch goes on. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
It is such an honor. And I think that's a beautiful kind of way to start wrapping things up. But before we do, is there anything that, we haven't touched on that you'd like to, or anything you want to talk about?
Yes, there's a couple things. Let me bust out my notes real quick.
Oh.
I actually have some questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
I used to go to this summer camp that was run by the SPCA called Animal Friends. And my like absolute favorite like camp activity we did was we would like take guinea pigs and some other like small creatures to nursing homes and like just hang out with the nursing home residents and let them like hold these animals. And I just loved it. Like I still think about it. And I know you do the like little zoo thing. So I've just been like thinking in my head, like back of my head, I'm like, should I do something like, because even just some of my friends who have like never held a snake before and are neurodivergent have like come over and had their first ever experience like holding a snake at my house, and they just like light up, like they have their own like moments. And I literally like even before I knew about your channel, my friends were coming over saying like they needed snake therapy.
Really? I love it.
Yeah, like one of my friends will just be like, can I just come over and hold your snakes? And it like really helps people, I think.
It does.
Even if it's just like an hour or something, just like getting to be around them. And like it's not practical for everyone to own them, but they're so beneficial, I feel like. So I've been kind of like thinking, how can I like share this with people who can't necessarily own one, or just like don't even know that it would be beneficial to them. So yeah, I just was like curious about your experience with Little Zoo, and I know it's like very different bringing guinea pig somewhere than a snake somewhere, and like how I'd love for you to speak on that a little bit.
Well, the Little Zoo is a nonprofit organization, and I am not the founder of the Little Zoo. I am the treasurer, and I'm a volunteer, and other things. But so the kind of brainchild of Erin, and she has a menagerie, like from hedgehogs to reptiles, and she set up this whole experience to specifically, the mission being, these are not, just normal pets that people would normally come into contact with. It's unique little animals. There's no big animals.
Yeah.
And that specifically it is supposed to bring joy and, therapeutic experience through touch.
Mm-hmm.
And she, there's insurance,
of course,
and all of that. And then we do take them to a lot of nursing homes for sure.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you you see yourself doing, and if that's a nonprofit or a business or whatever, you're going to have to think about, what is my mission? And I think the why should be really,
of course,
crucial to how you're going to present that and how you're going to go down that path. What is your mission? What are your animals? What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do?
sure.
All of that. I mean, I think about it personally a lot because I eventually would like to have, a place, a snake therapy place that people can actually come to have those experiences. And then we can also go out into the field. So it's constantly in my brain of like, how am I going to do this in my own way?
Yeah.
And I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot. I mean, this is just like in its infancy, like of a thought and an idea. Like, I know I want to share the benefits with people who might not know about them. That's kind of all I know at this point. And I just like related it back to that childhood experience of like, that was so, like, I still think about that.
Maybe the way that you start that is you just keep doing what you're doing with your friends.
For sure.
And then maybe talk to them, the ones who've benefited from it, and say, hey, like, do you have friends or do you have family?
Yeah.
Kind of set up a couple of small events yourself that you can host.
Yeah.
And get a feel for what that's like.
Yeah.
Because it's different than having one person.
For sure. Yeah.
There is a big difference.
100%. And I guess like why I wanted to ask you specifically is I know you bring some of your own snakes, right? Like how do you like, I guess I'm curious, like how do you know if they want to do that? And like, because I know, but like I know you're so empathetic and like in tune with your animals, and like I feel like that's kind of a tricky dance with reptiles. Like how do you feel good about it?
Yeah, and I'm going to be speaking for myself right now and not for Erin.
Of course.
And not for the little zoo. I'm going to be speaking just for myself because she has her own, way of how she feels about it. And that's slightly different from mine. Okay. So for me, I know my snakes well. And there are some snakes I never take. I also think about who is going to be at this event. Is it little kids with disabilities? I take no baby snakes.
Of course. Yeah.
No small snakes, because they will, and not intentionally, they won't try and hurt them. They just will grab and squeeze. Right. Yeah. And it just happens. Mm-hmm. So I tend to stick to the snakes I know that are well socialized and calm in general. I also judge by, I may have an idea of who I'm going to take. And if I go in there and I'm like, you're not in the mood today. Yeah. You're not going. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm, so it starts at home. Mm-hmm. And it starts at understanding who is going to be there. And then when we're on site, I tend to bring more animals than I think I will need. That's and okay. That specifically, and this is my own thing, is to give them breaks. Yeah. If we have a 2-hour long event with anywhere from 20 to hundreds of people coming through. Gosh, yeah. And it's going to be a constant, I want to hold, I want to hold, I want to hold. You better believe that I'm putting away some of those animals for 20 to 30 minutes at a time minimum. And if they tell me, because snakes talk to me, with their bodies and their energy, if they are telling me that they are done, they don't come out again. Yeah. And I'm very, very, very conscious of that. Yeah. So, and I've had it happen where, and you know what? I've never had a bite happen on site. I've never had any like seriously negative things. Some of my snakes are just so tolerant. They have been squeezed. And like, thank you for not biting that kid. Yeah. Like, you're so good. And, I would probably stick my hand in the way to get bitten instead.
Yeah.
I actually did that years and years ago.
Wow.
This first snake I had, where I saw them getting upset. I saw the snake starting to respond badly,
Yeah.
and the snake bit me instead.
Yeah. Oh
Took
my
the snake and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And everybody's like,
God.
what?
What happened?
And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not his fault. Like, and
Yeah,
it's no
offensive.
big deal. And I'm like bleeding and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
To me, but like, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so being really aware of how they're responding, and a great, I don't know, I think I might have talked about this before, but a great example of this is Anu, my Mexican black king snake. She's a star. She is just always, she's pretty much always game.
Yeah.
And she's really, really great on site. She's always well behaved and like calm. There was this one event we did, this birthday party, and there was this one kid in particular that none of my snakes wanted to be anywhere near. And even Anu was just like, no, like she kept trying to come back to me. She was starting to get erratic. And so I just basically had to tell this kid, like, you want to go check out a guinea pig?
Yeah.
And he kept because he kept asking to see snakes. And, you have to be willing to be like, no,
Nope. Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
And if that happens, you may have some disappointed clients, but for me personally, the snakes come first.
Sure.
And if they're uncomfortable, then that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, it's for me, I balance knowing the animals, knowing who they're going to be interacting with, paying close attention on site, and giving them breaks.
Yeah. That all
And
makes
then
sense.
when we come home, another thing to add to that is when we come home, if it's a long day, especially, but in general, I usually don't handle them myself for a day or two afterwards, at least.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just give them a break,
Mm-hmm.
because that was a lot of stimulation,
Sure.
and they did a great job. So your reward is you get to be left alone.
Yeah.
And I have the opportunity to do that. Erin does gigs all the time.
Yeah.
And she does have more than one snake and more than one lizard. So, there are times where she can switch it up, but I think they do much more than any of my snakes do, and that I would be comfortable with them doing. So you have to kind of gauge all of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And I'm glad you said that about like it's not always the body language. Sometimes it really is just the energy and like just like trusting that.
Well, you can feel that in their muscles.
Yeah, like
if a snake's muscles are tight, and tense, and they're gripping, and they're, moving, like I instantly am like, nope. Or there are some times where I will be like, you know what? I'm going to hold the snake and you guys can come and touch the snake. Yeah. But you're not holding.
Totally.
And that happens as well.
Yeah.
So it's really about being conscious of the animals and the moment and like what's appropriate.
Yeah. Like I always want to handle my own animal. Like I always want to be holding one. So I'm like, I need to get some more. So I'm not like wearing them out. Like rotate through, I'm very conscious of that. But okay, then that's just like quick question. I promise. I just watched your video about like the heating and lighting, which has been and thank you for that. Really,
everyone crazy.
It's been driving me bananas because I listened to those two, like Expert and the Idiot, where he interviewed that I can't think of his name right now. He's
Damascus, like, Thomas Griffiths. He's amazing. Yeah,
he's like a genius. But I'm like, dude, like
it's hard to take in. Right?
some of it just went so over my, and I'm like, yeah, I was like hurting my brain. I'm like, someone please just bullet point this for me, which you did. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad it was helpful. I mean, I didn't get it perfect, but I love that he commented
I
on
know,
it. And
I saw that.
I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So for supplemental or nighttime heating,
You want a radiant heat panel or a ceramic heat emitter, because that's IRC.
Okay.
And IRC is present at all times.
Okay.
It can be present, a rock sits out in the sun, and then at night it's still kind of emanating heat, and what it's emanating is IRC.
Okay.
So that's natural. It wouldn't necessarily be coming from above, but
it's better.
We're working with the tools that we have, right? So, and it's not perfect, and there's no replication of the sun. It's just we don't have that technology. So if you need that heat at night, then you can use those to create that, and just create an ambient heat like that is just slightly warmer than the rest of your environment.
Yeah. Some people just like turn all their heat off at night, and I'm thinking about doing it. Is that what you do? You do that?
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to share or talk about before we sign off?
No, I think that was it. Thank you for letting me flip the table on you and ask you things.
No worries. Well, thanks so much for all of this. I think it's really, you had a lot of beautiful things to say that I think are valuable for other people to hear. And I know that I can relate to a lot of it, and I'm sure other people can too. So thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.